What's up, guys? Turn off the music. Hey, it's been a while since I've done a Saturday night crypto, but somebody asked for it last night, and I figure, I might as well do another one. I used to do these every week, and then I just sort of figured, you know what, if people want to ask about crypto, they can do it during the gaming streams. Because I'm enjoying playing gaming again. I didn't really have a game that I was playing consistently, but now I do. I'm playing Legends of Runeterra, which is pretty fun. But since a few folks were asking about it recently, I figure I'll do another crypto stream. And if I'm only going to do it for an hour, and then I'll go back to playing games. So if you're here for Runeterra, you can either come back in an hour, or you can hang out, learn a little bit about Bitcoin and crypto. Ask any questions you want. There's no question that's too rookie or too advanced. I've been doing this a long time, since before 2017. Been through several market cycles, and I just like to kind of help people learn from some of the things that I learned, whether it be about cryptocurrencies, about Bitcoin, about blockchain, or about how to trade these things and make money doing it. So that's what I'm here for. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Otherwise, I'll just kind of get on with what's happening in the market. So I'm pretty sure that the tool that I used to use, which was this, doesn't work anymore. Yeah, that sucks. So as far as getting a picture of the market cap, here's kind of where we are. The last stream I did was here, so back on the 18th of January. So it's been a couple of months since I've done one of these. So now we're here at the 15th, so I'll just go ahead and sort of mark one here. But one of the things I've been saying is this is the dominance of Bitcoin, and what you really want to see is this dropping. You want to see it get as close to this 50% as possible, because that means that altcoins are booming, making a lot of money. And, the last time we really saw anything like that was here, with a big drop in dominance. And that's what we want to see. And there just hasn't been anything like that for, months and months and months. Although, take a look at this. Like, this is exactly what we're hoping to see right here. Like, look at this. That's huge. That's a huge drop in dominance. That means that people are getting into their favorite altcoins again. We're still nowhere near 50, but getting down closer to 60 is very, very nice. So this week was amazing, amazing for alts. Actually, it was 2 weeks, right? So this started on February 1st. So it's been 2 weeks of just solid altcoin gains. I mean, that he actually did the coin stream. Hey, what's up, Kaz? Yeah, I said I was gonna do it yesterday. I like to keep my word, and I figure if people want to see this, I might as well do it. If you guys want to see more of these, feel free to leave a comment on the video. If you're watching it after the fact, just put a comment on the YouTube video and say, hey, I'd like to see more of these. Or, no, you know what, go back to games. I'd like to know what people want to see. I enjoy talking about this stuff. I could talk about it for hours. But I also like playing games. So, whatever. Anyways, 2 solid weeks of lack of dominance here in Bitcoin, which is great, because that's an alt season. That's a 2-week alt season. A lot of people say, oh, look, we had 1 day of altcoin gains, but alt seasons are measured in weeks, not days or hours, and this is weeks. This is 2 weeks. And it could get longer, right? This might just be a little temporary stop before more. That would be awesome. So let's take a look at the charts here and kind of see what's happening. So last time we made a prediction here that hopefully it was going to go up and up and up, and it did. Had this little. If we bring this a little bit more forward here, let's go ahead and bring it out here. We had this little bounce off it here, just like this, but it came right back through, and now we're up here. So what do we have up here as far as supports and resistances? We have this guy here. Let's bring that way over. We didn't quite get above 10.6, 10.7, because if we do, we're probably headed up here to 11, 11.5, 11.7. But looks like we're hitting some pretty major resistance in this area here. So, because if you look, let me get rid of this. Let me get rid of some of this old stuff here. So if you look, you know, we made a higher high, a higher low, a higher high, a higher low, a higher high, a higher low, a higher high, an equal low, but we'll call it, you know, it's fair game. So I would expect that either from here, what we're going to see is this, right? Up to here at like 10-7, 10-8, or we've actually turned the corner and we're going to see something like this. We're going to see something like this. So it's either that or, you know, and then maybe a breakthrough. Those are the two scenarios we're looking for here. I sold a little bit of Bitcoin somewhere in here, just as we were getting closer to this, as resistance was hitting like a 10,300 or 10.3 or 10.4, something like that. And I'm looking to buy back in this area here at the 9400s or so, kind of this yellow area here. You know, a little bounce back here would be nice to pick this back up, because that would be an effective gain of about 10%, which is nice. So we'll see. I still have some, but I sold a little bit there, just because, like, look at the indicators. Like, everything looks like it's about ready to go down here, but not yet. Like we had, you know, we're going up and up and up, and now for the first time here on the day chart, we have a lower low. Whoops. Right here. Right? That is lower than this. So it was low and then high and then low. Now this is lower than that. So it almost looks like it might be turning around. Let's look at a couple of other indicators here. Let's look at the MACD. Yeah, we got that bearish cross right there in the MACD. Yep, so this looks like we could see a little bit of a correction here. And the question is, how far is it going to go? Let's look at the 4 hour. Let's look at the 4 hour. 4 hour looks like it's actually ready to kind of come back up a little bit here after maybe another 8 to 12 hours, about half a day. Looks like we might be ready to kind of come back up a little bit. But the 1 day chart is fairly bearish. How about cloud? How's the cloud looking? We're comfortably above the cloud here. This is the doubled settings. Yeah, looks like this blue line here, the Tenkin, is serving as... Hey, Colin! Long time no see, man. How's it going? I haven't done these crypto streams in a little while, but a couple of people on my stream last night when I was doing some gaming were asking for them, so I figured, yeah, I should do one of these. It's been a little while. How are you doing? 82 to 8,500, huh? You think we're going down that low? Where is 82 to 8,500? It's about here. 82 to 8,500. So about, you're saying it's going to come back to around here or so, right? Yeah, so I would look to reaccumulate here at about 93, and if it does break down, then 87 or 85 would be a nice pickup there. For the moment above the cloud. Oh, you're looking at the cloud. Yeah, like right here where this cloud twist is. I mean, it's bullish here, right? And there's several lines of support that we have to get through in order to crash down through the cloud. We have to get through this blue line here. Let's change the color of that. We need to get through kind of this blue line here, and then we need to get through this red line here, which is probably going to come up. So it'll probably meet price about, you know, kind of in this area here. Got to get through that, and then we can talk about breaking through the cloud. Then we can talk about breaking through the cloud at like 85, 8,700. So it'll be interesting to see if we get there. I mean, unlike stocks, in crypto, what goes up must come down, and that's unfortunate, right? Like, whatever goes up eventually comes down until there is a product that just is killing it. Until we have an Amazon, until we have a Google, until we have a Microsoft of crypto that just has amazing fundamentals and everybody believes in it and tons of users and tons of adoption, government regulation, all that good stuff. Until we have some of that, like you see that in the stock market and you're like, the price of Amazon goes up and it does not come down. It just doesn't. Like it does a little bit, but then it keeps going, right? But in crypto, that's not the case. In crypto, what goes up must come down. So it's just a matter of how much are we going to go up before we come down again. The same is true here. We hit 20K and then we came down. Then we hit 14K and then we came down. Now we're going up to 10.5, maybe more, maybe not. The most interesting thing that's happening in crypto in the next few months is that the halving is coming. And let's look at a countdown of that. Bitcoin halving May 2020. I think it's about May. Let's do a countdown. 86 days. The ETA is May 12th. So why is it doing that? Okay, so let's mark that on the calendar here. So May 12th. May 12th. So let's mark that with a big pink line. Nope, I already used pink. Let's use another color for that. Let's use purple or red. Fire engine red. It looks too much like that. Use purple. So that is the halving. And if you look at the data, if you look at historical data, it suggests that about a month before halving, you get a big drop in the price. So that would be about April 12th. So about there. Oops. So about there. Let's make that red because that is more likely going to be... It's more likely... So once we get into this zone here, this is a dangerous time to be in Bitcoin, because if you look at all the halvings that have happened in the last 8-9 years, you'll see that the price goes up before the halving, and then kind of right into the halving, price drops pretty epically, and then after the halving, we tend to see price kind of go back up again. So it's very likely that price once it gets into the halving here could drop. Now, I know a lot of people are thinking it's going to get up to like 11.5, 11.7, kind of like this range up here. So a lot of the pros are saying, hey, we got one last push left. We're going to see something like this and then just, right? And then flat for a while and then back up. Like that's the pattern that a lot of pros think are going to happen. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if maybe this is the top that we've actually seen, and so now we're just going to head down. But we got a while. We got a while to go. Like from where we are today to here, we've got almost 3 months, right? So that's a long time. That's a lifetime in crypto. What's up, Sugar Spicy? How's it going, man? Said I would do a crypto stream last night, and here you go. So any questions you got, go ahead and fire them off, and we'll talk about them. I think you were asking about stop losses last night. Anyway, hit me with any questions you might have. How do you conclude at what graph place and how much of the stop loss you would set? All right, ignoring news, purely ignoring news. Yeah. So that's TA. That's a TA-based trading, and I do plenty of that. I mean, I like it when there's news, and I like it when there's some fundamentals coming. For example, there's a Theta mainnet coming in another month and a half or so. There is an ERD, Elrond mainnet coming, and those are some events that tend to move price. But if we just take all that off the table and just look purely at the technicals, I will show you how to do, how I like to do risk management, because we talked about it briefly last night, but it helps to see it with visuals. Anyway, I just want to finish up on Bitcoin. We'll look at these altcoins, and I promise that I will mention stop loss and risk management. Yeah, so I will talk about that. I won't forget, it's right here. So we'll get to that. But anyway, the TLDR is once we get into here, it's going to be very, very dangerous for Bitcoin. I would expect price to drop pretty heavily. So I don't know from where. I don't know where we'll be going into this. We could be here. We could be here. But wherever we are, we can expect some down, in my opinion, I think, in that last month. So, just tread carefully. Use your stop losses. Anyways, let's let's move on to ETH. ETH against Bitcoin. Jesus, look at that. That is really nice. Ethereum has seen some major gains, as have all of the altcoins against Bitcoin recently. All right, that's enough of that sound. Let's see how much exactly. So from here to here, almost 50%, outpacing Bitcoin by 50%. Meanwhile, Bitcoin was outpacing the US dollar. So, I mean, being in altcoins was patently correct in the past 2 weeks. Like, you could have pretty much been in any of them, and the question wasn't, did you make money? It was, how much money did you make? Did you make 10%? Did you make 20%? Did you make 50%? Because altcoins was where it was at these last couple of weeks. I was in BNB. We'll get to that a little bit, and a couple of other small ones, but it was pretty good. BNB got some rise too, made around 30%. Yep. Yeah, I've been talking about BNB for a long time. And we'll get there. So ETH looked really, really great. Let's put the, why are the Bollinger Bands not showing? Jesus, they are. Okay, let me get rid of some of this other rabble here. So, I mean, I would have said this is a nice, like, this is tough. Like, the trend is clearly up right now, but with Bitcoin dropping, you want to watch to see if alts follow or not. I mean, there's some really, really healthy volume. Like, look at this, man. This has just been 2 weeks of awesomeness. That volume right there, that's a lot of buy volume in these alts. So it looks really, really nice. Let me bring up some of the other indicators. So here's, I mean, Jesus. So the RSI went up to 90, so it's really about time for a correction. The MACD still has, on the day, still has a little bit farther it can go up. I'll bet the 4 hour is really over. Yeah, so 4 hour crossed bearishly here. Looks like the RSI is starting to come back down. So it looks like we're going to see a correction, at least a small one in the short term. It's not very often that alts rally for more than 2 weeks, but I have seen them rally up to 4 weeks before. So it's possible. We'll have to see what happens as people start taking profits on Bitcoin. I imagine a lot of the altcoin charts are going to look like this. Let's look at Ripple. Not quite as beefy as, so it's only 30% or so, whereas ETH was 50. But this looks like it's correcting too. It's kind of same thing. Yeah, I mean, that was a major move up, and then a bounce right off the middle Bollinger Band, and another crack up high. This would be a good shorting opportunity. So let's talk about risk management here, right? So if you like to trade the Bollinger Bands, okay, and let's say you can do shorts or longs. Let's do a short. Let's say we took a short position from price right now, right here. We took a short position, and let's say so that means we think the price is going to drop, and let's say we think it's going to get to about the middle red line here. So we think it's going to get to about here, and we know we're wrong if, like, where do we set our stop loss, right? So like if you're looking at this here, you can say, hey, if I'm right, I get 10%. If I'm wrong, like, what do we do? Do we set it at 3%, 4%, 5%? What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to put this stop loss at a point where if the price passes it, you know you're wrong. So looking at the chart here, no news, we know that we're wrong if price breaks this, right? If price gets above this, we know we're wrong, because that means it's actually going up, not down, right? Because it will go higher than the last high. So that means that we would have to set our stop loss just above that, somewhere like about here, right? So then what does that look like? So now, okay, if we're right, we're gaining 10%. If we're wrong, we're losing 7%, which is not, it's okay. That's 7%, risking 7 to gain 10. That's like 1.5 to 1 R&R, which is not great. What you really want is something like this. Like if it were this, like, let's say it were here. Let's say we bought during this red candle instead, and we shorted like during this move, like right here, okay? So we'd set our stop loss above this candle as it was coming down, and we put our, we're going to try to get to this red line here, so we put the gain here. So now, if we had bought back here, when the price were back here, and we shorted, sorry, not bought, if we sold short here, we're gaining 12% if we're correct, and if we're wrong, we're only losing like 4.5%. So that's 4.5% if we're wrong, 12% if we're right. So that's double that, at least double that. That's like more than 2-to-1 R&R. That's good risk management. That's a good trade. But as it sits today, if we bought right now and we're buying like right here, and we have to put our stop loss up here, probably comfortably above this, we're risking 7 to only gain, 10. That's not great. I think we can find better trades. I believe the 2-to-1 is a good ratio for stop loss management. Yeah, I like to look for 2-to-1 or greater generally. Sometimes if I feel really good about it and like I'm a little bit late, I'll take a 1.5-to-1 R&R. But you never want to take a 1-to-1 R&R, right? Like let's say let's say we went long. Let's say we were buying instead of shorting, and we were doing it here. We're like, hey, look at that. Price came down, hit the middle Bollinger Band. That's pretty nice. We want to go long here. We want to do that. We think price is going to go up to this top Bollinger Band. And if we're wrong, it's going to go down here. So we're risking 2.48% to gain 7. Like that would have been great. Not only would that have been great, but it would have hit. So we would have sold right there, or partially, would have been great. But this would have been a good one, right? It's 2-to-1 R&R at least. It's like 3-to-1. It's actually 3-to-1, right? So that's nice. But you never want to take a 1-to-1. This is what I was saying. So like, let's just say, we're like, don't even look at the price. If let's say price was right here, and we took a 10% up and 10% down, like you might as well go to Vegas and gamble at that point, because that's 50-50. If you do 1,000 of these trades and you win half of them and you lose half of them, you're break even. Like that's a gamble, and that doesn't do you any good. What you really want is trades like this where it's like 5% if you lose and 10% if you win, because then if you take 1,000 of those trades and let's say they're coin flips, like I don't know if it's going to go up or down. I have to flip a coin. I have no idea. But if you flip the coin and every time you're wrong, you lose 5%, but every time you're right, you win 10%, you would flip those coins all day long, right? Because you'll eventually be way profitable. Even at 50%. And then if you consider, all right, it's actually not 50%, it's greater than 50% chance because you're using TA, you're using fundamentals, then you take these all day long and then some, right? So that's why good risk management and making sure that the gains are so much higher than the losses is really, really like the most important thing. Because then you can just coin flip your way to profitability. And if you have a better system than that, then it's even better, right? Okay. So that's how I like to set stop losses, which is, not only good risk management, but based on the invalidation point of your idea. If we're going short, the invalidation point of the idea of going short is up here. If you're going long, I would look to, buy, down in one of these regions, down here somewhere, at a support resistance flip, like either here. Like if you're looking to buy Ripple, you would look to buy here, or maybe here. Like if price comes down to here, buy a little bit here, buy a little bit there. And then if you're wrong, you've set your stop loss under that point, a little bit. So anyways, that is Ripple. It looks a lot like ETH. Let's look at Bitcoin Cash. So why did I mark this down here? I think I felt like the price was going to come down to this, and it didn't because all alts rallied. But this was several weeks ago. And right now, it definitely looks like there's certainly some consolidation here, right? Just kind of sideways movement. There's some sideways movement here. And the question is this consolidation, or is it getting ready to turn around and drop? And it's going to be hard. We kind of need to see if it's gonna break up past here or not. Because right now we're sitting at this support resistance flip, right? Support, resistance, resistance, right? So we need to see if we can, break through this or not. And if we can, the place to accumulate more is as it comes down and retests that. Otherwise, this was a really good profit-taking spot right here. Let's take a look at Litecoin, because these charts look all the same. Everybody's grinding the top Bollinger Band here, although looks like this came back down and bounced off the middle support here. So this is actually an interesting long. Let's take a look at what the risk reward would be on this guy. So we want to go up to this top Bollinger Band here, and we know we're wrong if it breaks this lower candle. So yeah, about there. So what's the R&R on this? 7.8% to 5. That's about 1.5 to 1. It's okay. Nothing great. Don't really like it. Let's look at Litecoin. Litecoin, same chart, kind of coming up here. Looks like it's going to come down a little bit, but it's right in the middle of the bands. RSI's flipping over. MACD is about to flip over on the 1 day. On the 4 hour, it's already flipped over, and so has RSI. So I like how the support resistance BB line is changing it. And how do you conclude where to place the stop loss marker from that point? Did I answer your questions, Sugary? I think I did. I'm just reading back a couple of comments, sorry. Did I answer your question about where to put stop loss markers? At least how I like to place them anyway? I mean, that's what I like to do. Yeah, let's see if there's anything different. Okay, here's EOS. So EOS had a very, very big correction here. Let's check the fibs on this. So when was the last? So we went here, then down, and then up to here. It's vague. Need more examples? Okay, sure. So we went, this was the latest move here, which represented a price gain of about 33% against Bitcoin. Now it's coming back. It looks like it hit the 50% retracement, and now it's kind of hovering over there. The question is it going to come back to 618 to 61% or not? Or is this middle line Bollinger Band resistance going to hold? Hard to say. It's hard to say if this is going to hold. I think what we're looking for here is either some nice green volume, and then you would ride it up to the top, or... So this is a very risky trade, but here's another example, okay? So let's say we took this trade, and we think, you know what? It's going to get back up here again. Let's say it's going to get back up to, not even the top. It's going to get back up to about here. It's 11%, right? Now, if we're wrong, all we have to do is put the stop loss below this lowest candle here, which will be, let's just put it about here. Even comfortably about there. Okay, so that's 5% if we're wrong, and 11% if we're right. So that's good risk management, but it's not necessarily a good trade. But if you wanted to take this trade and buy EOS, you would put your take profit here at 11%, and you would put your stop loss here at 5%. So that's good risk management. The reason I don't think it's a good trade, though, is because if you really zoom in here, this candle is still forming, but look how much volume there is here in this sell candle here. Like, it looks like it's gonna come up here and just come down. So, like, it's good risk management, but the setup does not look nice. It doesn't look like there was a healthy bounce off of this line here. It looks like it's going to break the support. So I don't like it. But if you really wanted to make an aggressive trade, you could do this. And if you hit, you put your stop loss here. You lose half what you lose if you gain. So that's decent. But I just don't like the setup. You're saying if I think that will go up or down. You are saying if I think that it will go up, how do you conclude it? Because of what? You mean, you mean, so I'm just talking about the Bollinger Bands right now. There's lots of technical analysis, and everybody has their own system. You can look at the RSI, you can look at the MACD, you can look at volume, you can look at previous supports and resistances, right? There's all kind. Everybody's got their own system. I can't give you the one surefire way to say, hey, I think it's going here. But I guess the best thing I can tell you is look at horizontal supports and resistances, right? Like, see this resistance right here, way back here, whoop, right? Well, look at that. We're right at it again, possibly as support, possibly not. We need to see if this breaks or not, right? That's a very, very strong support resistance area right here, because it hit really hard and then it came smashing down. And from here, it was below this for 200 days, right? So that's how long it was below this. And now we broke above it. And the question is, can we stay above it if you like EOS, right? So that's a potential, right? So you just have to decide, where you think price is going to go. You can use these Bollinger Bands. I like to use the Bollinger Bands, right? When price, really smashes above a band, I like to say, hey, maybe there's a chance that it goes back to the middle, like this touch right there, right? A lot of times it does that. It doesn't always do it, but sometimes it does. So you would say, hey, if I'm right, it's going to go here, and if I'm wrong, it's going to go here, right? Or, you probably want to do that going up, right? This would have been a short. But this is a good opportunity to say, hey, I think it's going to bounce up to the top band again, or if I'm wrong, it's going to go down. But if it goes down, then it'll hit this bottom, and then when it hits the bottom Bollinger Band, you can say, you know what? We're going to take a long, let's just draw some lines. Let's say the Bollinger Band comes through here, price comes all the way down, this guy is probably about here, the middle is probably about here, right? And then you'll say, all right, so price just knocked the bottom Bollinger Band. I'm going to buy right here, and I think it's going to at least go back up to the middle. And if I'm wrong, it's just going to keep going down to about here or whatever. And maybe there's a candle that you're watching, so it's got to be lower than that. And you'll be like, okay, here's a 4.8% loss versus a 10% gain. Let's take that trade, right? So that's, hopefully that helps. If you have a more specific question, let me know. But, there's lots of ways to pick your points. You can use indicators. You can use previous horizontal supports and resistances. You can use trend lines, There's lots of ways to do it. Everybody has their own system. I like to use a confluence of several indicators. I like to use a lot of them. If all of them point in the same direction, I like to say that's good confluence. And I will take trades that do that and have good risk management generally. But this looks pretty bearish. We had a bearish cross on the one-day MACD. The RSI is coming down. Volume, sell volume is picking up. So that suggests that there's a correction in store. You earlier said that you're waiting for the next hot coin news. Can you fastly run over if you don't have time? What you think will happen to them? Yeah, sure. I mean, we have half an hour left, so we have time to talk about some fundamental analysis. So we talked about this. So FA, let's talk about theta and ERD. So yeah, I'll get to those after I go over. I want to get through the top 10 here, just the rest of these, and then we'll talk about some fundamental analysis and what I like to look for in news and how news affects price. So let's talk about BNB. BNB has been great. I've been talking about this for months. So if you guys go back and watch these streams where I'm talking about BNB, I'm like, BNB is good. BNB is good. I think BNB is going to get up to this red area here at 29,000 sats. It might take time, but I think it will get there just because it's so strong. And as Bitcoin was dropping and all the other altcoins are dropping, Binance Coin was just kind of holding its thing here. Very resilient to the BTC moves, and sure enough, boy oh boy, did it go up. So Binance went up 44%. That's pretty good. Not as good as ETH, but it was pretty good. And I was holding a lot of Binance Coin. I sold a bunch of it. I sold some of it here. I sold some of it here. I sold some of it here. So I actually don't have any Binance coin right now. I got rid of all of it. Made a lot of profits in BTC, and I'm waiting to buy back because I feel like, this is me personally, this is not financial advice, of course, but like, I can count on a couple of fingers how many crypto projects I think are going to be around in 5 years, and Binance Coin is absolutely one of them, if not the best non-Bitcoin coin. Just because they're doing so many things, they're always pushing new products and utility and trading, and it's just a good company. You know, if you're gonna bet, if you're gonna invest in anything in crypto, you know, you got to look at fundamentals of the company, the people running it, and everything. And there just aren't a lot of companies that I think, you know, that I can comfortably say are going to be around in 5 years. But I do think Binance will be around in 5 years, and it'll be great to see what they come up with. So if I were looking to buy more, which I am, and you're wondering like, well, so where would you buy back in? Let's get rid of some of these, and some of these, and some of these, and this, and I'll leave that there. So if I were going to buy back in, I would be looking to pick some up, you know. I mean, I just don't know if we're going to see 21,000 sats again. But if Bitcoin really corrects, we might. I mean, the best places are here in these yellow areas, right? Support here, support here, support here. You know, let's move these a little bit because price got down to about here, and then we got another support resistance zone here. Kind of right here. And then I think there's like another one right about here. Let's look back a little bit further. Yeah, so I'd be looking to pick some up here, 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 and here, I guess. See this middle Bollinger Band here kind of coming up? If price is going to drop, it would probably meet this line. So this line's going to come up here. Price probably hits it right about there. So I think the first place is going to be around 22 to 22.2, 22.3 sat range. And I imagine it's going to come down. Like there will be a correction. Like you don't have to FOMO into this stuff. Like sure, like we could see something like that, but you know, there's plenty of opportunities. There's always going to be corrections. There's always going to be, you know, whoa, look at that, and then back, right? And you always want to buy, you know, you want to buy the red candles, not the green candles. A lot of people are like buying these huge green candles. You want to buy the red ones. You know, buying this little red candle would have been good, but I like to buy big red candles. So I bought on the way down here, right? Like I probably bought some, what is this, 20,000? Yeah, I bought some here, I bought some here, and I bought some here, right? And then price went up. We sold it. So those are the places that you probably want to look at it. It does look like there's going to be a correction. This day chart's about to roll over. RSI got up to 80, 82. When was the last time RSI was at 82 on the day chart? Here we have 83. So what happened after this? Well, it went up a little bit, but then came down pretty hard. Very hard. But it did go up a little bit more after this first touch of 82. What else? Let's go back a little bit more in time. Do we have any other? So here's 88. So after 88, it came down hard, right? Dropped 50%. Whew, that's rough. So here, and then here, we have 82, and price dropped 25%, right? And here, we have 79, and price dropped 44%, right? So it's very likely that we're going to see a correction here. I just don't know how much, how hard. And I don't know if alts are done rallying yet either. So it's interesting. Let's look at BSV. That's ridiculous. That's throwing off everything. So let me scale this so we can actually like get a real picture. So I'm just going to ignore that candle there. BSV is not seeing a ton of volume, but it did have a very big correction recently. So if you look at the Bollinger Band here, you can see that it hit the top, came down to the middle, and now it looks like the middle is resistance, and it's probably going to come back down. So this looks like pretty bearish to me. So I don't really see anything here. Yeah, the RSI, the MACD is crossed over bearishly on the 1 day. The RSI is clearly trending down. Like it's clearly trending down. So this is bearish. This is very bearish on BSV. This only trades on a couple of exchanges anyways. Let's look at Stellar. All right, Stellar. So Stellar is making higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. As long as it doesn't break right here, as long as it doesn't break through that, this is still trending up. So, you know, this would be the place to accumulate Stellar if you're going to. Or, which is probably where the middle Bollinger Band is probably going to meet it right there. And then price is going to come down. It's probably going to be like that, right? And so this would be an interesting trade. How many days does it look like this is going to take? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So maybe in about a week, a little less than a week, you know, price might come down to about here, which would be right at this resistance spot here, right? Resistance, resistance, pew, support, right? That's what you want to see. So if price does come down to there, you could take a long and you can say, let's go to here and we'll set our stop loss about there, like below these candles here, which would be clearly, you know, invalidating the idea. 6.6% if we're wrong, 13% if we're right. We're not there yet. But if the price gets down to about here and it looks and the indicators look good, this might be a good trade. So I'll just put that in there with a question mark in it, because I don't know if we're going to get there. So let's do that. And then we'll see. We'll see in a couple of weeks. We'll see in like a week maybe, or in a few days if this holds up. I believe in BNB as well. Top one coin for me. It's my... So the only two coins that I have in my long-term portfolio, full disclosure here, I have two portfolios. I have a long-term, kind of like an investment portfolio, and a medium short-term, what I call a trading portfolio. Like, and the coins over here, I never hold longer than like a couple of weeks, maybe, because they're too volatile, right? So I just try to get in and get out for small profits. But over here, I will leave coins in here for months and months and months, maybe even a year, right? And the only two coins that are in this portfolio for me are ETH and BNB, because they're the only two coins that I think are strong enough fundamentally. Now, there are other people who really believe in Ripple and Tron or whatever, and if you've done your research and you believe in the product and you believe in the marketing team and the developers and all that, then great. That's fine. Then you know, it's kind of like, you know, hey, I really enjoy the Impossible Burger, so I'm going to buy their stock or something, right? Like, if you believe in the product, you buy the stock. You believe in the company, you buy the stock. Same thing is true of crypto. If you really believe in it, then do whatever makes you feel good. I believe in ETH and I believe in BNB, and that's it. That's it. Out of the thousands of coins that are out there today, and a lot of them are promising, but I just don't know if they'll be around for 5 years. Maybe they will. And then I might change my mind in the future. But right now, the only coins that I have confidence are going to be around are BNB and ETH. ETH is going to go into its 2.0 version in 2021. And that means in 2020, or this year, we're going to start hearing about it. And we're going to hear about what's coming with ETH 2.0. And already, ETH is doing pretty good. But they haven't even started talking about their 2.0 stuff yet. So I think ETH has a long way to go as well. Anyways, so that's BNB. We talked about BSV. We talked about Stellar. Here's Tron. Tron looks a lot like ETH, right? Grinded on this top Bollinger Band, just like Tron. Now it's kind of coming off. If we were gonna go long, I think you'd want to wait until it comes down and hits at least this middle Bollinger Band. If not, it comes all the way down. The indicators are definitely kind of turning over So we just haven't seen the big correction yet. No real strong indicators here other than it looks like all these alts are going to correct. But we need to see, right? Because a lot of them are just going higher, high, higher, low, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high. And we need to see if this breaks. Can it make a higher low and then a higher high again? Or are we going to start to see lower high, lower high, lower low, lower low, lower high, lower low? Right? One of those two things is going to happen, and we're at the inflection point right now. Right now. Right? Is it going to use this as support and make a higher high? Or is it going to break it and go down? So we're right at the precipice here, and we need to see what happens. Monero. What did we predict it was going to go down from here? Well, we were wrong. I mean, because everything went up. This was from here to here. So it already went way out past there. And now, yeah, we don't need this anymore. So this looks just a lot like ETH, right? Up here at the top, waiting to see if it's going to drop down or go up from here. This can go, so it went up, then down, then up. And this can come all the way back to here, right? So for Monero, price can drop all the way back to here and it's still considered a bullish trend. So it has a ways to go. What's up, Sonomer? I'll be playing Runeterra in about 15 minutes. I used to do crypto streams every week where I talked about Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies and help people understand charts and trading and blockchain and stuff. So if you have any questions while we're here, feel free to ask. I'm just talking about charts right now. So anyway, I think we need to wait to see on these. So that's our top 10. What did you ask? Fundamental analysis. So let's look at Theta. Let's look at the chart first. So here's the Theta chart. Hot coins, no time. Exactly. Here is Theta's chart. And this move here was based on a partnership with Samsung. Okay. And it moved the price. So whenever there's like a partnership or some really big news, you know, like it moved the price like 37% in one day. So that's pretty crazy. And since then, it's come back more than 50%. Looks like it's going to go to the 618 here, which is about 1,386 sats, or maybe 1,400 satoshis about. Anyway, so when you look for fundamental analysis, what you want to do is first go to the coin page. So go to CoinMarketCap. You find the coin you're looking for. So in this case, we're looking at Theta. And you're like, how do I get more information about Theta? Well, here you can see their market cap and everything. You can go to their website here. And this is their website. This is their Telegram. This is their Facebook page. This is their Twitter. So you can read kind of all about what's going on, right? Let's look at their roadmap. Where's the roadmap? Roadmap. And you definitely want to see pictures of the team on their website. If you go to a coin website and they have cartoon pictures and they don't have their real names and their LinkedIn profiles on their webpage, that should be a red flag, okay? Don't fall in love with any coin that stays consciously anonymous on their website, because if they're staying anonymous on their website, there's a reason for that, okay? They're either not proud of what they're building, or they're scammers, or they're running under the government, or something that means they can't tell you who they are because they have fear. They have some kind of fear because every company that is proud of what they do will put themselves out there, okay? That's true of software development. That's true of crypto, okay? If you put your names and pictures and LinkedIn profiles and histories on your website, you're proud of your product. If you don't, you're afraid of something, and you as a consumer should be afraid of that something too, okay? I'm trying to find their roadmap, though. I don't know if it's on here. Here it is. Roadmap. Okay, so we are in 2020, first quarter. Theta Mainnet 2.0 goes live with multi blah 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 and Guardian nodes blah blah blah. So sometime in the first quarter is their mainnet. Now their mainnet. So let's see if we can get some information on that. So let's go Theta Mainnet 2.0 date. So now we're doing a little fundamental analysis here, announcing the Theta Mainnet and the Theta roadmap. That was September last year. Let's look in the past month for any news on that. It's probably just going to be the end of March, right? No, it's not showing here. Yeah, so it's not. So I'd have to go into their Telegram and see if they announced it. But really, it looks like the best we can do is Q1. Sorry, let's go back to that. So they're promising that in Q1 they're going to launch their mainnet. So Q1 is January, February, March. So by the end of March, according to this roadmap, unless they slip their dates, according to this roadmap, by the end of March, they should launch it. So that means, so let's go to the price. So that means that by the end of March, so let's do March 31st, right here, beep. So by here, they should launch their mainnet at some point in here. And you imagine in the last month, so that would be from April 31st. So that is from here. Sorry. From February, from March. So in this zone, we should get some news on them talking about their mainnet, because that's a month before it's supposed to launch. And either they're going to say, hey, you know what, we're not going to hit our date. It's actually going to be more like April, and then the price is going to tank because everybody's waiting for it. Or they'll say, hey, we're on track. We're going to be launching it, a week before the end of March or whatever. So we need to see. They haven't talked about it since September. So, when a company throws a date out 6 months in the future and they say we're going to launch our thing, being in software development, I can tell you that dates slip a lot. So I don't know how much I trust that date, but, as we get closer into this range here, we should have a better idea. And if they are going to hit it on time, you can expect price to go up. Up to the date that they will launch, up to the date that it actually launches, because a lot of people say, hey, they're going to launch mainnet. That's a big milestone for this company. They might get more partnerships. Maybe they kick in some marketing. And, launching a mainnet is a pretty big deal. Like, that's good for them. That means that they have reached a milestone with their product that means something. So, price should go up in the weeks prior to their mainnet launch. Are you waiting to accumulate it? I'm waiting to see how much of this is going to retrace, right? Like, looks like we're definitely going to at least come back to here, possibly to here, possibly to here. And all of these points would be good points to accumulate this. But I think the real point to start thinking about accumulating theta is in this green block here, because it's 1 month out from their mainnet launch, according to their roadmap here. And a lot of people are just going to blindly trust this roadmap and start buying in this range until they say, yeah, we're on track, or no, we're not. And and so it's risky, but that's how you play fundamental analysis. You say, hey, they got a product launch coming. They've announced the date. It's 2 months in the future. So 3 or 4 weeks beforehand, you start, accumulating it on some dips. And then a lot of other people will say hey, I heard that they're launching their mainnet. And then the word starts to get out, but you already knew about it. And so other people start buying it, and then price goes up, right? So that's how I like to do product launches. And I think ERD is also doing a mainnet launch. Did they already launch? Am I wrong about that? Let's do last month. Maybe it wasn't ERD. Maybe I'm thinking of a different coin. thought it was ERD. Let me see. Let me see if I have this on in my notes here. Oh, my phone's about to die. Let's check it out. Oh, Matic, ERD, and Theta. They have something coming up. ERD March 2020, maybe? Let's see here. Let's see what they've got. Economic model proposal. Maybe it's this. They're gonna do an economic model proposal during Q1 2020. So at some point they are gonna talk about the staking and the coins coming in and out of circulation, and we'll see. And that could be bullish for Elrond. Let's see what's happening with Matic. Let's see. I'm not sure, but there was something that was going on with Matic in the next month or so. Coins, Matic. Search. What is going on here? Okay. It was just slow. I don't want all these. I just want Matic. Jesus Christ, this site is terrible. It's got everything in here. I don't want everything. Can I close these? I don't want all of those. I just want one coin. Can I not just search for one coin? For God's sakes. Can I exclude everything else? Holy crap. What happened? The site used to be so good. Okay, here we go. Fraud Proofs Testnet coming by the end of March. Mainnet launch, March. Okay, so it's another Q1 2020 mainnet launch for Matic. So let's look at Matic. So Matic had a real, Matic had a real nice move here. Pretty nice run from here to there, and looks like the magic 618, 61% of that has been retraced, and then a bounce. So we need to see if it's going to do, another one and come down here, possibly down here to the 100% retracement or not. But if there's something coming up in March for Matic, let's do the same thing that we did for Theta, which would be, let's mark the end of March and the end of Feb for the 1st of March. And let's color the middle green. And so that should be an interesting zone for Matic and for Theta. So for you, the next top moment should be the next 1 to 2 months for Matic or ERD, afterwards BTC halving. Yeah, so BTC halving is going to throw a wrench in all these. Okay, so here's the order of how things affect price in crypto. The number one thing that affects price in crypto is news. News beats charts. Fundamentals trump technicals, right? So whatever. Like, it doesn't matter what the chart looks like. If there's a partnership with Samsung or the founder gets hacked or something, that's going to move the price more than any chart, okay? So news is the top, and then technicals, organic supply and demand, stuff like that is kind of underneath that. And the halving is something that's kind of news, right? So news is the first thing that moves a coin. Bitcoin moving is the second thing that moves a coin, and then the third thing is just organic supply and demand. So we've already talked about news. The Bitcoin halving is coming right here. It's coming right here, and historically, Bitcoin's price tends to drop in the month leading to the halving. So come about April 12th, Bitcoin is going to be very dicey. I mean, it's not guaranteed, but it's, if history has been any indicator, that's a dicey time for Bitcoin, which means it's probably a dicey time for alts as well. But if you consider that some alts have a big thing that's positive happening at the end of March, which is right here, then this month here could generally be pretty safe for some of those altcoins, right? So looking at Theta, looking at ERD, looking at Matic, and I need to do a little more research to find out exactly when those things are happening, because just going to a website that was updated in September 2019 that says, yeah, we're going to launch our mainnet 6 months from now in March 2020, that's so far out there that they have no idea. And as that gets actually closer, you should be able to go into their Telegram channel and hear from their development team. Yes, we're still on track for the end of March launch, right? And if you hear that, that's super good. Or if you hear nothing, then you're like, because I can't tell you how many times, 2 weeks before the end of March comes by and everybody's like, so are you launching the mainnet or what? And then they're like, we'll have news soon. And then they're like, you know what? We're going to take our time and do some more testing and we're going to launch in June. And then everybody's like, oh my God. And everybody dumps the coin. So, you got to be careful with things that haven't been updated in months, right? You got to hear from their people that they're on track recently, to deliver that end of March roadmap item, like their mainnet launch and stuff. So I think that's about it. We're kind of out of time. I'm going to go play some games. If you want to watch Legends of Runeterra, just hang out here. I need to restart the stream. I'll be back in a few minutes. But I think that was good. That was a good stream. And, we got a little while before this stuff happens, and we just want to watch to see what happens here with Bitcoin. We're getting our first resistance here, and we want to see if it's going to turn around or if it's going to go back up. So with that said, trade safe if you're trading cryptocurrencies. It's very risky. Very risky. And feel free to follow me on Twitter where I'll talk about this kind of stuff. I pretty much use Twitter exclusively for cryptocurrency chat and things. But maybe I'll do this again next week. We'll see. Otherwise, until then, I'll catch you guys later. I'm going to end the stream and flip it over to Legends of Runeterra and play some card games. So just hang out here. I'll be back in a couple of minutes if you want to see that. Otherwise, I'll catch you guys later.